Alrighty guys, welcome back to Sideline Stories. We haven't had one in a while, but I'm up in Brisbane, thought I'd reach out to a few cool people, and we've got probably Ireland's best export since Guinness itself, Robbie Dolan. How are you, mate?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good, thank you. Very keen to have a chat to you. You wear many hats. You're a jockey, you're a singer,
Yep.
you're a father, you do just about everything. But how's the hand, first off?
Yeah, it's all right. It's healing slowly. I had to have surgery last week on my wrist, just on the inside here. So they put a little screw in there and screwed it all together. So I'll be out for a couple of months. But
Jesus.
look, it's not the end of the world. That's part of the job, really, isn't it?
Yeah, you're going to be back before any of the major carnival races towards the end of autumn, or?
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully I can get back. Again, it all depends on your wrist, because this will be strapped up for 8 weeks. So once this comes off, you can just start doing a little bit more with it in physio, and you don't want to rush back as well. So you want to get it right. And
yeah, shit. So you came off a horse, did you?
Yeah, I fell off in a race at the Sunny Coast. When was it? 3 weeks or something like that. Yeah, not really sure what happened, to be honest. It was still a bit of a blur, but yeah, unfortunately, just hit the ground pretty hard, and at the time I didn't really know what was going on, but fractured a bone in my scapula in my back.
Jesus.
And then also done my scaphoid as well. So yeah, not really what you want to be doing. And sure, look, like I said, it's part of the job, unfortunately. And when there's more losers and winners in racing, and unfortunately, I just come out second best on the day.
Is that your first major fall? Have you had others?
I've had a few, unfortunately. I've had 3 now, I think, but this is probably the worst I've had pain-wise. Touch wood, and there won't be any more.
I was say that's unlucky, but lucky kind of. If that's only the worst one you've had, like I've heard that many horror stories from people in the industry. Like my mate, barrier attendant down at Canterbury, and like he used to ride and all through like the 80s and the 90s, and some of the things he's told me about the state he's found some jockeys in when they've hit the turf, like it's just, I don't think people actually understand that part of racing. Like they just see who won, who lost, how much money did they have on it. Like it's not like rugby or AFL where they just go out and they tackle each other and then the game ends and then off they go, right? There's freak accidents in those sports, but it's a lot more likely to have a freak accident in something like racing, I reckon.
Yeah, there's a lot of variables. Like you said, any sports, there's always incidents and injuries, and they're just a little bit different in racing because there's so much going on. There's so many people around. Like, plus you're working with animals. Like horses are, 500 to 600 kilos, and you don't want to be hit by one of their legs. Believe me, they're like sledgehammers. So it's one of them things that you just have to learn to live with, and you don't want to be going out riding with fear or anything like that. I'm not afraid or anything like that. It's just you just have to get back up and dust yourself off and go again. And injuries is one of them things that you can't really fully control. You just have to go with the flow and get back. And like you said with rugby league and all, you see a lot of them young kids when they get injured and they might never come back mentally. So they just have to dust themselves off and get back in the ring, really.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, is that, like, one of the worst things you could possibly do? Like, let it get to you? Like, you're thinking every time you're going out there, okay, might come off here, might seriously hurt myself. Like, is that just one of the things that you got to put to the back of your mind?
Yeah, you have to, because if you're going out there thinking you're going to fall off, well, you're in the wrong industry, because, you're not, it's not an easy job. It's not for the faint-hearted, but, if you're going out there with that mindset, not only are you endangering yourself, but you're endangering the boys and girls around you as well. You don't want to be going out there afraid, and then you're just clouding your judgment. You're doing everything wrong.
Yeah.
So yeah, you just have to harden up, really.
Is it really hard? Like, is that one of the things you learn coming through the industry, to be like that spatially aware with everything that's going around you? Because sometimes you're on your own all the way at the outside, but then other times you're completely boxed in and you got to be making sure you're not colliding with left, right, in front, behind you. Like, how do you actually gain that spatial awareness?
Just through, the more you race, the better you'll get. Really, you get your you get your bearings. Like I've been riding horses since I was 16, 17 now, so been doing it for a fair few years. So I kind of know what's happening around me all the time in a race, and I'd like to say I know what my horse is going to do before it does it, but I don't think anyone does. But you can definitely you pick up on the traits of horses, and you kind of know. Like if one's sort of relaxed and then it pricks its ears, it might be ready to look at something, and so you just learn all that over through experience. Same as anything, you just get better at judging stuff the more experience you get.
And is like you don't really hear it at like a Randwick or a Flemington on a big day, but then you go down to some country meets, like you hear all the voices of the jockeys going past. Like, are you guys just in constant communication with each other? Like, I'm coming through, or I'm on your left, or I'm on your right, or do you sort of just you're focusing on your own horse and like that's it? You don't. Is there much of that talking going on?
Yeah, there is, because nowadays, especially with all the new safety rules they've brought in, and you have to be 2 lengths clear when you're crossing, and even like nowadays you're not allowed. Sometimes you're not even allowed to go for runs if they're too small. Like making runs, they don't really like that anymore, and so you have to be communicating all the time, because you don't want to be getting suspended for one, because it's a couple of weeks wages gone, and you don't want to hurt anyone as well. So you have to be, you have to, if you're going for a run up the inside of someone and you feel like they might be shifting in front of you, you want to give them a yell and let them know, and do the right thing. And not only are they coming on top of you, so you don't want to clip their heel, but they might get suspended if they're just, because it's not easy to keep a horse in a straight line galloping at full gallop. So that's a whole different ball game altogether. But you want to just let the riders around you know, so nobody gets suspended, because nobody wants to see anyone else getting suspended. Really.
Is there much shit talk out on the track, like talking trash before, after, during the race, or is it all just taking care of each other?
No, there's definitely a lot of shit talk. Yeah. Oh yeah. Fuck yeah. It's it's a high pressure sport, high prize money sport. So you get out there and you have a bit of oomph in you, really. Yeah. And like I've definitely, there's a lot of blues and stuff as well after, if the race doesn't go to plan for some people, or some people gets in someone's way, someone puts someone up the fence, something like that. You go in and you'll hear it. So it's good. You ever copped a bad spray from one of the other jockeys? Not really like bad. Like I've had a few people sort of, over the years, like mainly when you're apprentice, that's when you're really like, you're getting sprays from jockeys for doing stupid shit, because you're apprentice and you just do stupid shit all the time.
You're on your L's.
You don't know what you're doing, like. But I've been lucky enough, I haven't had any really bad sprays from anyone, thankfully.
Not even from a trainer?
Oh, from trainers, yeah. Oh yeah. loads of times. In Sydney, well, John O'Shea, love him to death now, he's a great guy, but he's when I was apprentice in Sydney, he gave me a spray one night at Canterbury, and it just shook me. Just, I didn't know what was going on. It was like, because I'd sort of come in, start riding all these winners. I was, getting around with me, Willie in the air in a sense. But no, I was, and then I just rode one really bad one night, and he let me know. And I was that night, because Canterbury, night meeting was like 9 p.m. at night, and I remember getting home just like, I don't even want to go to work tomorrow, because I'll see him on the track. And then I seen him the next day. He's like, "All good, Rob? Yep. How are you? Yeah." It's just
on to the next.
You just move on. You just move on. Yeah.
Those sort of like disagreements with trainers come about just because, in their opinion, their horse sort of should have won and you didn't do enough, or is it when like they give you the instructions per race and then you don't follow those instructions, or is it a bit of both?
Bit of both. Like you can't please everyone, but at the end of the day, when they give you instructions, you try your best to follow them out. But if you can't follow them out, you have to have a plan B, because you're going out there just like, this trainer wants me to lead, and you just can't physically get to the front. You don't want to just kill your horse to get to the front, because it's not only like, again, it looks bad. Like it looks bad on TV. You don't want to be known as this lad's a freaking kamikaze going out in front for no reason. Sometimes you just can't get there, and you have to take a sit and then ride the race from there. And that's one thing I'll try and say to like young kids coming through that ask for advice or whatever. It's just, always have a plan B and a plan C of what you're going to do in the race.
You just got to have those instincts take over. Yeah, you're right. Like if they want it to lead, can't, oh well, don't just keep going. Same thing if it's, they wanted to sit all the way back, but the horses wanting to do other things and take the gaps and all those sort of things.
Yeah.
Let's just go back to the start of it all. You said you've been riding since about 16, 17. In County Kildare, that'd have been interesting because isn't that like the mecca of horse racing in Ireland?
Yeah, Kildare's the Curragh where I sort of grew up is it's a massive training establishment. People sort of train from their own yards and then they bring the horses down to the gallops, the Curragh Plains gallops, and like Dermot Weld is there, and that's my dad worked for Dermot Weld for many years, and that's sort of why I had always had a keen interest in horses and stuff. Yeah, sort of grew up, I wouldn't say around horses, but horses were always in my life. Grandfather was a jockey and brothers in America training and doing his thing, and my dad, he was a jockey and then worked for Dermot, so always in my life. Got to the age of about 17 and then pretty much just went to, I wanted to be a jockey and went to the racing academy on the Curragh. And it was pretty like, it was just changed my whole life. Like I kind of wanted to go in and have a look and, I'd see how I get on. But as soon as I sort of was around horses every day, learning how to ride them, how to care for them and look after them and the basics, it's just like I was hooked straight away. Horses are just an incredible animal.
I've heard that from a lot of other people. They say that like horses are just this completely different thing than any other any other animal. Like you spend enough time around them, you end up loving them, and then you can't picture your life without them, sort of thing. Like that's why I feel like I read this thing that one of the governments was trying to get a program up for troubled youth to sort of send them out to farmlands to work with horses because of how much benefit they've seen other people get with working with the horses. Like, I think it's really, really cool that the relationship between a horse and its owner, or a racehorse and its jockey, because you see some of those horses get strapped with one jockey their entire career, and you can tell they get a little bit frisky when it's not that person getting up on them. Like they're very smart individuals, horses. Like it's
absolutely.
And I think it's always funny when they know when they're good as well.
For sure.
Like, have you ever been on a horse that like knew they were good?
Yeah, I've been on a few, luckily enough. There's like you said, horses are real clever, but people forget that they're horses as well. Yeah. Like when you're watching the races at home, and people just forget they're horses. Like I've often done it. Like if I'm not riding and I'm watching the TV, watching a horse race, and I'm just like, it's mad that these are animals and we're racing them around. It's insane, really. But to answer your question, Profondo he was my first Group 1 winner. He was a proper horse, he knew it as well, but he was very colty and he was a little bit mad and difficult to ride, and very difficult to ride. No, he was just like he was just a freak. If he just had to have harnessed his energy a bit more and done a bit more right, he could have been anything. Could have been a real good horse. And he was a real good horse. He won a Group 1, so
he was really good. And I remember following him from the start. He came through just as I sort of got into horse racing and betting, and I certainly tried to follow him through. And it's good that Richie got the Group 1 there. Like I've got some horses now with Richie. He's a good guy, Richie.
No, he's a good trainer. He can find a fast one as well. He's had a few real good ones. Casavecchio is another one. And he's got another filly there at the moment who's flying. I can't think of the name of it. Cafe Lorien or something. Yeah. It's going to be a real good horse as well. So
yeah, no, I'm looking forward to seeing how his horses go, especially because we got 3 with him now. So and they're all sort of like on the way up. I like his slow but steady approach. He's like, we're not going to run them just for the sake of running them. We're going to make sure.
Yeah, he's pretty chill.
Teach them the right things and all that sort of stuff. So back to the race academy. Is it like here in Australia, we got like our public schools, right? We go there every day and then we go home, or is it more of a boarding school sort of setup?
Yeah, it's a boarding school. So it's something that they badly need in Australia, badly. Because I'm not trying to be rude, but there's a lot of apprentices that just need a bit more help.
Yeah.
Like we went in there, and I went in. I didn't know anything about horses. Well, I knew them. I knew a little bit, but not much. And so you sort of go in on the Sunday night, stay there Monday to Friday, and you go home Friday afternoon. Then you spend the weekend at home.
Okay.
And then after, it's like a 9-month boarding school, and they basically just teach you everything. And by the end, you're an established sort of rider, and you're ready to go out and be apprentice somewhere. But the reason they need it in Australia is because 10, 20 years time, you're really going to struggle for staff, because nobody wants to get up at 4 in the morning anymore and work with animals, because it's just, kids are changing now, like that, like hard work and getting out and working on the farms. I'm not saying it's all gone. They're obviously out in the country, they have to do it because it's their way of life, but now kids are playing on iPads and want to be influencers and freaking podcasters like you know what I mean?
Here?
So you could have been a jockey. But
I
like,
could have been.
From my course in race, it was like 32 of us on the course, and there's probably only like 3 of us left as jockeys. But I'd say 90% of the people from my course are still working within racing.
Yeah.
Farriers, strappers, barrier attendants, dentists, trainers. Like, it's just like that, and that was every year. So it's an influx of 30 plus people every single year, working, and not just working, but I mean, like, we're fully qualified by the time we're unleashed into the racing industry. So if they don't do something like that, pretty soon they're going to struggle for, like, a lot of experienced people.
And it's still going over there?
Yeah, it's still going, I think. I think they were trying to cut it maybe because funding was difficult and stuff, but there's been a lot of great jockeys come out there over the years, like Johnny Murtagh and Chris Hayes and the like, so it's pretty cool.
So is it very similar to, like, the British racing school?
Yeah, it's similar to that, but I think British racing school is only like maybe 2 months or something. Don't quote me on that, but I think
that's a short course.
It's like a shorter course compared to this one. Was like 9 months long. Yeah,
I think that the way that, like, the UK and Ireland look at the pathways to racing is so much better than here. Because I remember I tried to get into one of the courses over at the British Racing School just about media, because they also noticed that young people weren't getting into horse racing media, and no offense to the people that are in media at the moment, like, they're fantastic, but they noticed we've got an aging collective here. We probably should start trying to find the next generation. And the British Racing School set up, it seems like a cool course. It's like a 1 week intensive sort of thing. Unfortunately, I didn't get in, but that's another thing that Australia, I think, probably should be focusing on as well, like media, the industry, like, because I think, they pitch to bring track work times later in the day, so you didn't have to get up at like 3 a.m. every morning?
Yeah, they did do that. I think they actually did achieve that in a lot of the tracks. Like, they brought it forward from like 4 to like 5 or something, maybe at Randwick.
Yeah.
But a lot of the trainers didn't want to do it. No, like just because they have a lot of like students and people who have like 2 jobs, so they might, like, the students will go in and do the work in the morning, and then they'll go off to college or whatever.
Yeah, okay.
And the same with, like, people with 2 jobs. So if they push them forward, they lose so many staff that are just like working part-time,
Yeah.
So that'd be difficult. But in Ireland they don't start till 7 a.m.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they don't start, but I prefer it here. Like, going in at 4, you're done by 9, then you might come back for the evening shift as apprentice or whatever, midday, and then you're done by 2 o'clock. But, like, in Ireland, it's like you're not even done your morning shift by 1 o'clock, because you're in there at 7, you're riding like how many lots, and then it's midday at 1 o'clock by the time you finish for lunch, and then you go home for an hour and then have a rest, and then you go back for afternoon shifts where you have to feed them and water them and stuff like that, and it could be dark by the time you're going to work, and then dark by the time you're coming home from work. It's
no fun.
It's a difficult life in the winter anyway.
Oh, it would be. I went over there just in the summer, and I was surprised at just how, like, the difference in sun coming up, sun coming down. Like, it gets so dark and so cold, and
in the winter it's difficult.
I'm going back over this year as well to Royal Ascot and stuff, like, and the Curragh. Is it worth a day to go to the Curragh races? Yeah,
of course. Yeah, it's great. It's there's so much history there. It's a great track. Especially if you can get up in the stands and just have a look at the greenery around. It's insane. Royal Ascot's probably, I don't know if you've ever been there, but that's probably the best track in the world.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It should be a good trip. Is the Irish Derby like the equivalent to the Melbourne Cup here at all? Like, is that one of their biggest races, or is it?
In Ireland, it is. Yeah, the Derby is the big day, the big race in Ireland. The Champion Stakes, another one. But history-wise, like, the Derby's like just look at the winners 20 years ago all the way through. Like, there's just been stars running in them races all through, and just it's just exciting time of the year. Good races are always exciting, but in Ireland and England, the Derbies are the big ones.
You ever thought about going back to try and get a ride in the Derby?
I'd love to, but I need to stop falling off them, I guess.
Are there any other key differences between how racing works in Ireland compared to here?
Like in a race, you mean?
Yeah, how they race them, how they train them, because we're all about sprinting here. I feel like over there they're not as inclined to sprint. So yeah, like what are the big differences that when you got here you're like, oh, this is chalk and cheese, or this is similar? Like any culture shocks when coming down here to ride?
Yeah, I'm trying to think like what really like like some of the way they train the horses over here, like they're very like, it's almost like a conveyor belt sort of thing, like the same thing all the time. Like when they train on the tracks here, they sort of go out on the track. If they're having a canter, like they'll just go on the track and do like 2 laps of the track, and that's their work finished.
Yep.
And then their gallops is the same thing. Go out on the track, do your gallop, and then you're finished. Where like when they're sort of trained on track, they just walk straight out, do the job, and then they're back in. Might be on the walk or the treadmill or whatever. But in Ireland, it's like, man, I used to sit on one horse for like, I remember riding a horse for like 2 hours one day. Just one singular lot. We'd have like 5 lots, and the lots would be like an hour and a half to 2 hours long.
And that's all the horse gets for the day, like the full 2 hours instead of just the full like 2 laps and then that's it.
Yeah, like over here, like they do like 2 laps of the track and then they go back in. Like when I was working for a trainer in Ireland, like we used that because the yard was a little bit of a hike away from the gallops.
Yeah.
So we'd tack them up, and there'd be like 20 of us in the string, and we'd all just walk to the gallop together. And it's like a 20-minute walk to the gallop, and then you do all your work, and then you walk back. So it's like over an hour by the time you get back to the stables.
Oh, jeez. And do you reckon that's a better setup with training the horses? Or?
Oh, not for me. When I was especially in the winter, or if it's piss and rain or something, you're just like, oh, this is horrible. Because you're just piss and rain, and you're on the horse for 2 hours, you know, or an hour and a half or whatever. But it's not like that everywhere. But I just remember having to do that for a long time. But yeah, I'm sure there's trainers like that are the same like that. They probably have them out and do all different things with them. But the horses that are trained like on a racetrack, they can only do what they're given. You know, they only have a short space. I know they can school them over the jumps and swim them and treadmill and all that. So they are doing a lot of different stuff. But I did notice that very peculiar, and the times as well are really reliant on track work for times and stuff.
Like, so when you made the move, how old were you when you made the move?
20, I think.
20. So were you keen to really get stuck into the things, or did it take you a bit of time to find your footing here?
Well, I was keen to get going, but it did take me a bit of time, like with visas and stuff like that. I went to Melbourne originally, and I was with John Sadler down there, and we tried to get into the apprentice school, but it was already full, so they wouldn't let me in, so I had to move somewhere else and just tossing and turning where I was going to go. So I ended up on Sydney, and then I was riding a little bit for Richie Litt and a few other trainers around Warwick Farm, and then rode a couple of lots for Mark Noonan. And then he come up and asked me, he's like, someone said you wanted to be apprentice. I said, yeah. And he said, well, if you want to be apprentice with me, you can start this afternoon. And that was it. I just started working for him straight away.
Brilliant. Same day?
Same day.
What did he get you to do day one?
Putting horses on the walker, cleaning out shit. It was great.
I'll tell you that's the one thing I reckon that you said, like, you know, the young kids don't want to do. If they went and rocked up to day one of work and realised they had to clean out the shit out of the boxes, that'd probably turn them away.
Absolutely, but my old boss, Adrian Keatley in Ireland, he used to say, like, you should take pride in everything you do. Yeah. Like, even if it's cleaning out horse shit.
Yeah.
Just make it look nice and neat. You clean it out and make it. So I used to always try and like make my boxes look real great. I didn't mind mucking out. I kind of liked it in the end. I still enjoyed doing it. Because it's like an art. It's even an art to mucking out. You know what I mean? Doing boxes correctly, and you have to dig up the banks because, you know, when horses lay down for a roll, you don't want them to get stuck on the wall. So the shavings will have to be up against the wall. Okay. Like, so if they roll and they get stuck, the shavings will help them slide back over. Oh. So there's so many things you just learn along the way, and that's
that's what fascinates me about the racing industry. There's like so much shit that goes into it that nobody realises. Like, I remember growing up, like, Dad was always into it, just from the punting side of things, and he owned a couple of horses, and he'd always say, oh, we're going to the races today, you want to come along? And I'd go, oh, fuck, why would I want to go to that? Like, because I was just under the impression that it was, you line 10 horses up and fastest one wins. And, like, I guess when you boil it down to it, it is, but, like, I didn't realise that who trains it, who rides it, where they've drawn, the weather. Have they been eating throughout the week? Have they been training well throughout the week? Like just everything. It's so fascinating to me.
For sure.
And so you land in Australia, you end up with Mark Noonan, and then like you mentioned earlier, like you were getting wins on the board pretty quickly as an apprentice, and all of a sudden you're top apprentice in Sydney. Did that sort of make you feel okay? I've made the right choice here, coming out to Australia.
Yeah, for sure. I knew as soon as I rode my first winner, I was like, yeah, this is where I'm supposed to be. I wouldn't say I like struggled as an apprentice in Ireland. It was tough, like, but I just wasn't ready. I was too young and mature. I needed to go somewhere else to spread my wings and learn a bit more. And like, I didn't know if I was going to stay here for a long time or whatnot. End up staying for 9 years so far. So, yeah, I didn't initially go straight to like riding in the Metropolitan or anything like that. You know, I rode in the bush. I went all over the place in Sydney.
Yeah.
Drove out to Mudgee. Drove out to, you know, up to Tamworth, all the way to Parks and freaking Dubbo and everywhere. I rode all over the place.
Yeah.
By the end of my apprenticeship, I didn't even need a Google Maps. You just tell me to go to Parks, I know where to go. So, and then after you ride a certain amount of winners, you eventually go into the provincials a bit closer. And then you're in the metros then and have a go and see if you're good enough. And thankfully I was lucky enough. I got lots of opportunities and rode a couple of nice horses, and that helped me along the way.
Are there any of those drives out those country tracks that you'd wake up and see the calendar and be like, okay, I got to go to fucking Parks, all right, get in the car? Like,
I don't know. I actually didn't mind it. I was just kind of like in the zone, really. Yeah. I was in the zone my whole way, like kind of through my apprenticeship. I always felt like, you know, it's my job, really. No point in complaining. You know, I always felt like you have to be a cocky. You have to be
yeah.
You know, what's the word I'm looking for? You have to be like adamant in your abilities, really. And I always felt like
confident.
I always felt like I wouldn't last forever riding in the country. I always felt like eventually I'll go into the city. Yeah. So now I'll just keep going. So I just kept sticking on through, and yeah, like there's times where I remember coming home from the races, like from the country, like late, like 10 o'clock at night or something like that, or even later sometimes, and then you only have a few hours sleep, and then you're up for track work at 4 a.m.
Yeah,
3:30 a.m. or whatever. So it was, they were tough. Like getting up the next morning, then you might have trials and then off to the races again. So you're pretty much flat out.
Yeah, the life of the jockey, you don't get much actual rest. Like, do you ever sometimes feel like when you're up on a horse, like you're real just burnt out and you're just working off pure like instinct alone? Like, you know, like, okay, I'm focused, but like I know how to do this, but like it's sort of you go out and just do it rather than having all of the prep that goes into it and all of that? Or is it always a real structured prep? Okay, no, this is the horse, this is the race they're in, this is what I've got to do. Like, how does that all work when you're running off like 2 hours sleep?
It doesn't matter what race I ride in, it has to be very, you know, you can keep it simple, but you still need to know what's going on, where you need to be to win the race, and what's your dangers, and also the jockeys in the race as well. You need to study your jockeys as well as your horses, because like, you know, you could be following a Jason Collett, for example, and you might not get up his inside because he's a jockey that likes to ride for luck.
Okay.
So if you're following him, you might want to come to the outside of him. You know, maybe if Timmy Clark is drawn inside you and want to gaze, you might not get him, and you're trying to be in front of him, you won't be able to cross them. Just stuff like that, you know what I mean? So you need to learn your jockeys as well. So there's lots of form and stuff goes into the races.
You mentioned Profondo earlier, like all of a sudden you're champion apprentice and then you're moving up into, like, you're no longer riding in Parks, you're riding in the big group races and you get that Group 1 win with Profondo. Like, how did that feel when you crossed the line and knowing, fuck, like, Group 1, I've made it now, like, I'm big time, like, I'm in under the bright lights. Like, how'd that feel?
Yeah, it was good. It was very emotional. Cried my eyes out pretty much all day. Like, you know, because everything's then flashing through your head, like, when you're first telling your parents, oh, I'm going to move to Australia, and like, you know, all that jazz. And also I had a little bit of an association with the horse. I sort of rode him track work and stuff, and he wasn't easy, so it was just like, yes, I'm so happy to win this race.
Real fulfilling to do it.
And I rode him pretty much every start, and then he should have won the race previous to the Spring Champion Stakes. I rode him in that as well. It was a lead-up race, and I just sort of pulled the whip on him with my left, and he ran out, and he should have won the race, and he ran second. And I remember thinking, oh, fuck, they're going to take me off him now. which was, fair.
Yeah.
Because I'd sort of just come back from injury as well, and I'd say there would have been a lot of jockeys ringing for the ride on him because he would have been favourite in the spring champion. So anyway, the owners thankfully kept me on him, and I remember saying to them, like, if you keep me on him, I promise you I'll win the race on him.
Yeah.
And they kept me on him, and so that was another one. I was just so happy and relieved to win it. So it was during COVID as well, so I didn't probably fully get to enjoy it, but it was still good.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, COVID, you didn't have the roar of the crowd, and you didn't get to really probably celebrate as much as you wanted to, eh?
Yeah, well, I was in isolation. All the Sydney jockeys were in isolation, so we were basically, I had to move away from home. I wasn't living with my partner. I had to move into the city.
Yeah.
We lived a little bit out near Warwick Farm, so I had to move. If I wanted to ride in the metros,
Yeah.
I had to move within like a 10-mile radius of the racetrack. So I had to move into the city, rent the place out. And I was literally just renting this place out, and we weren't allowed to leave. We were just allowed to leave, go to the races, and come home. No track work, anything.
So who's riding the horses if you guys aren't?
The track work riders.
So they got like a separate track workers, and they had to isolate as well, or?
I'm guessing they did at the time, but I'm not really sure. But we were just racing. That was it.
Does that make it tougher because you're not like getting to know the horses as much that you're jumping on because you don't get the chance to ride them at the track work or the trials?
It was a bit weird, like, because it was kind of like we're just home all the time. Like, we weren't really allowed to do much. Everyone was sort of in the same boat, I guess, COVID. But it's weird, like, winning my first Group 1 and all the photos I'm wearing a freaking mask. So it's cool to look back on, but
what did you do to celebrate? Like, I'm sure it would have been a weird celebration.
Pretty sure I got pizza and played Grand Theft Auto or something.
Fuck yeah.
And I think that's all I done because I couldn't do anything. I drank beers by myself. That was it.
Well, compare that to your next Group 1. I feel like I've read a couple of your interviews and listened to a couple of them, and I feel like everyone seems to forget. No one asks you about Selby 66.
Yeah.
What was that like? In front of a crowd?
That was sick.
The party boys, 6 weeks straight, you get to jump on the ride and you win the big one.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. That was really enjoyable Group 1. I knew the Morris McCartan was always a really good lead up for the Galaxy. It's a weak backup, but for some reason, like, looking back through the years, it's always a great lead up because I remember I rode Easy Eddie for Joe Pride and he won the Morris McCartan Group 3, and then he ran in the Galaxy a week later and finished third behind Nature Strip. And when I seen Shelby win that race, I actually I'm pretty sure I messaged my manager and said, Shelby 66 Galaxy straight away as soon as I crossed the line.
Yeah.
And he's like, not sure if you'll go, I'll have a look. And then I actually just rang Danny Williams myself like an hour or two later, and I said, look, he'll get a lightweight. If you're looking for a rider, man, please put my name in the hat.
Yeah.
And then they rang back and said, yeah, you can ride him. I was like, yeah, brilliant, because I rode heaps of winners for Danny as an apprentice, so I always had a lot of luck for him. And they put me on him, and that was one of them races, like, kind of like the Melbourne Cup, where everything just went right. It was, he drew like 4 or 5, ended up 3 back the fence, and then just got a beautiful run out into the middle and just launched late. It was great.
And fuck, the crowd went wild. I was there.
Yeah. No, it was
I
mental.
on him as well.
It was crazy. It's actually, like you said, a lot of people forget about that one, but he just loved the wet track. It was the wettest freaking.
Oh yeah.
The wettest few months in Sydney history, and he just
genuinely
loved it.
was every weekend. I remember, like, because that was back when I was going to the races most weekends, and everything was just getting rained out. All right, we've done the first 5 races, so we're gonna have to call the rest off, go home. Like, I remember a couple of weeks prior to that race, because he'd raced every week, he ran in that race when everyone was like, what the fuck's he doing here? Like, Nature Strip and Eduardo in the race, and he split them. But, like, that was bucketing down that day as well.
Yeah.
But, like, I stuck with him all 6 weeks because I remember the first of the 6 weeks, I think it was, that he started running, because Nick and I do the preview podcast. Either he or I were on it, and it came second. And then we were like, okay. And then I backed him the next week, and he won. And we went to the stables and saw him and just had a pat, because I was with my little cousin who loves racing, and he always loves going around to the different horses and having pats of him. And then after that I just kept going, he's racing again, I'll back him, he's racing again, I'll back him. And then it came to the 6 weeks and everyone's like, okay, surely this horse can't run any good, he must be puffed. And I went, fuck, why can't we just back him again? Like, let's get around him. Was that the first time you'd jumped on him, was race day?
Yeah. I don't think I rode him before that. I can't remember. I don't think I did ride him before that. he was actually. I think Danny had a nice opinion of him. He was actually a nice horse. He was well enough bred. And they paid a little bit of money for him at the sales for a country sort of couple of trainers and owners. I think they paid a nice bit, like 120 grand maybe.
Yeah.
But he just had these big feet on him, and he just kept growing. And I think he had bad feet, and he was always sore, and like he never was right. And then he obviously liked the wet track as well. And it just so happened that whole prep, I'm pretty sure Danny just got him right. His feet was perfect, and he got all them wet tracks. And then, you know, it's just a horse with confidence is dangerous, mate. They're just, you know, they'd run through a brick wall for you, and he was just flying, you know. And I think it was sort of at that stage where a lot of the like Nature Strip, and they were just starting nearly on the way out now, and he was just like, I wouldn't. He was just.
He's on the up.
He was on the up for that prep anyway.
Yeah.
He was. Yeah, I don't think he ever won a race after that again. But
I don't think he did.
I don't think he needed to. He won a Group 1. That's it.
100%. I feel like I mean, Danny's never going to complain. The owners are never going to complain. But that probably did him in the end, because now he's won a Group 1. He can't go back to the lower class sort of races, and so he's stuck racing with the big dogs every week.
100%. Yeah, he was weighted out.
Unless he's going to get his best conditions, which he didn't ever get again, because all of a sudden it was the driest spring we've ever had. So we'll forever remember that horse. Like, it was just a crazy 6-week period. Did you ever ride him again after that? Or?
Yeah, I rode him a few times after that. He was never felt the same.
Yeah.
Like, even going to the barriers, I always felt he was a little bit, like, just not fully right. I think his feet got at him again, but and he's retired now, so.
But because you could, did you have a big celebration after that one?
I'm trying to think. I'm pretty sure. I don't think we celebrated, but I think Maisie was still in hospital at that stage, because Maisie was born premature, so she was still in hospital. So I'm pretty sure we just went in to see her, maybe, or maybe it was the other Group 1. Trying to think.
Was that for Royal Supremacy's Group 1, or was she already born by?
No. It would have been Shelby. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure all within the space of like a few months, it was like, Maisie was born, had a Group 1, and then the Voice sort of came out. Yeah. So it was kind of all, I can't remember if it was the first Group 1 or second Group 1, but yeah, we definitely would have drank plenty of beer to celebrate.
Fuck, what a roller coaster. Oh, well, we'll get to the Voice in a bit, but I thought, you know, we can't let you go without talking about the Melbourne Cup. So, I mean, Knight's Choice, how did that come about? How did you get the ride? Because you'd moved up to Brisbane, so it's a Brisbane horse. Like, how did that all come to be? Yeah,
well, it was, to be honest, he was already a pretty good horse before I got on him. He won a Group 3, and the owner turned down a lot of money for him from Hong Kong. Couple of million when he was after that Group 3, so he was already pretty talented horse. I met Sheila on a cruise ship when I was singing. It was the Melbourne Cup cruise, actually, funny enough, and I was singing on the cruise ship because I was at a limbo. I didn't know if I was going to keep riding or if I was going to start pursuing singing, and I got opportunity to go and sing on the cruise ship and basically get paid to go and be on a cruise ship for a few days.
Can't complain with that.
Singing, so I was like, yeah, sounds great. Sheila was the special guest on the ship, and when I met her, we done a Q&A together, and I said, next time you have a Melbourne Cup runner, put me on it, which is a true story. I did say that to her, and then fast forward a few years later, I just needed a bit of a change, moved to Brisbane, start riding a little bit for Sheila, and I had a lot of luck, heaps of winners for her, and then obviously Knight's Choice came about, and I can't remember how I got the ride on him, but it was just got the ride one day, and I ran second on him in the Q22.
Yep.
And like that was a weight for age Group 2, and he ran second on a little bit of a on a soft track, and he had a bit of a weird run as well. I sort of, the winner just got away from us, and then we just were better than everything else. So I always knew he was a proper horse. I just think he needed a real dry track. He was the opposite of Shelby. He hated the wet tracks. And that's what it was that day. The Q22, it was like firm, and he just went really good. And then he sort of come back on that Melbourne Cup preparation sort of thing, and his first few runs were just they might as well just not went around because the tracks were all wet. And then I rode him in the Caulfield Cup. It was bottomless track, and he just ran last, and I ran second last, and the Japanese horse ran ran last.
Yeah.
He ran second in the cup. So they just hated the wet tracks, and then we went to the Bendigo Cup. Probably 10 days out from the Melbourne Cup or something like that, and he drew one, and I just got a little bit held up on him, and he ran about fifth, and he should have ran second. And I was like, and that was on a firm track. I was like, fuck, he actually went really good there.
Yeah.
And I remember driving home, I rang my mate, and I was like, this horse is different horse on a dry track. I said, if it's dry track on Tuesday, he'll run a really good race in in the Melbourne Cup if he stays.
Were you booked all the way through? So from when the start of we're going to the Cup, you already knew, okay, I'm going to be on him from here until the Cup.
I didn't know, but I was hoping.
Yeah.
Like it's the Melbourne Cup, so obviously be plenty of jockeys trying to ring up.
Yeah. Were there any points where you thought, oh shit, might lose the ride here, or?
No, I always felt confident I was going to ride it. She actually was going to have two in the race. Mission of Love was going as well, so I always felt like at least if
you'll get one
someone else got on him, I might be able to get Mission of Love. And then I think Nikita was going to, or Angela maybe was going to ride Mission of Love, and then Nikita was getting on him, and then she ended up being lame anyway, so I didn't go.
Did you pull the card of you promised me the ride on the cruise?
Oh, I've told that story so many times at like functions and everything, and it's a true story. I swear to God, it's a true story. I literally met her on a cruise ship, and then end up winning the Melbourne Cup together.
Fuck, they'll make a movie one day, surely.
Probably not. They already have Ride Like a Girl. They don't need another one.
Oh well, if they did make a movie, who'd play her?
Probably play myself, I reckon.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it
I wouldn't
be
mind.
Good.
Yeah.
No one would be able to play you better than yourself.
Yeah, I'd definitely do it myself.
So you get to race day, like we mentioned that like you're always planning. Like, was the plan still your same sort of setup, or did you go into even extra planning because, oh my God, it's the Melbourne Cup, like there's nothing else like it, it's 3200, it's Flemington, it's the biggest race in the country, like, or was it still same sort of processes?
Same thing. I went through a bit of a rabbit hole on the Melbourne Cup, because I knew I was so lucky to ride in the race, but I was kind of trying to get a little bit inspired, so I watched pretty much the Melbourne Cup, every single Melbourne Cup, for as long as you can find on YouTube. Wow. So I just watched them all, and I knew I needed to ride my horse quiet and ride him for luck.
Yeah.
And so I kind of watched them all and see if I could find a ride that I kind of wanted to emulate. And then I remember Bossy, watching all Bossy's Mackay Diva interviews and everything like that, sort of leading into it. So I knew what I needed to do on my horse. I knew the horses around me and everything like that, which horses I needed to be following, and that was it. I just sort of went with the flow then after that, because a lot can change over 2 miles,
I feel like, unlike any other race in the country, shit can go out the window pretty quickly with that race. Because there's just so much going on, so many variables. So, talk me through the race. You jump him, you settle him, and he sort of seems to always be in that back half, that back pack, which often can be the hardest to run from in the Cup, because you've got to make up so many lengths come the end. But at all points, where you're just confident, was everything sort of just falling into place, or did you have to change things? Like you said, you got plan B. Did plan B come out, or was everything plan A?
Yeah, everything went to plan, really. It's weird, listening to Jamie after last year's one. She's talking the same thing. It's it's like faith. Just everything just happened. You want the horses to move out of the way, it just happens, So, and that's just one of them things that you can't explain. But he jumped well. He had a nice barrier. It's weird. He drew barrier 6, and the stats for barrier 6 were really bad. It's the worst stats. I don't think there's been a winner since 1920 or something.
Oh, okay.
And then the morning of the race, someone scratched inside, so I ended up going to barrier 5, and they had the best stats. They had 6 winners in the last 100, in the last how many years.
Yeah.
So I remember thinking, just give me the trophy now. It's game over. So he jumped really well, and just like I said, I knew the plan. Just settle him, because he's a little bit strong as well. So I needed to get him to relax, do things right, and see can he run the trip. I knew he liked the firm track, and it wasn't the best rendition of the Melbourne Cup as well. So I was kind of well, if they're going quick, they'll stop. If they're going slow, well, you can't do anything about it. So he just was in a good rhythm. I had all the horses around me I wanted to follow, and I sort of wanted the Godolphin horse was up like 2 or 3 pairs in front of me at one stage, and then it was further forward ahead when I got shifted further back. But it was the horse I sort of want to aim at in the run, like, because I actually thought it was the one to beat, to be honest.
She ran like it too late, Zardozi.
Yeah, Zardozi. Yeah, that was her. I don't know. I just thought that was the one that could win it. So I was kind of like, she was the one I was looking at. It was Willie Mullen's horse was outside me as well.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, we sort of got down towards the first bend in the Melbourne Cup, and it was just like silent because it was so loud and everything, so you can hear it a little bit, but it was like everyone was just in a rhythm,
just in the zone.
Not much happened all the way down. Then it was like the 600 or the 700. Then it started to wake up. I remember, like I said, watching Bossy's interviews, and he mentioned in the Melbourne Cup there's always like 2 waves. Like the first wave will come around the outside, and you don't want to be in the first wave because they never win. So you just wait. Okay. Once that wave's finished, then the inside wave will go again.
Yeah.
For some reason in the race, a couple of them started to go out the outside. I remember thinking, oh, that's the first wave. Like Bossy said, I'll just wait for the second wave. Sure enough, as soon as I thought that, the horses in front of me started to go and like take over the inside again. And then I was just starting to work into it nicely, and coming to the 4, I was like, I'm actually going to run well here. And then coming to the 2, I was like, I think I might win this. And then I could see that Godolphin horse up on the inside, and then I just went straight past it, hit the front, and then I could hear the Japanese horse. I didn't know it was a Japanese horse, but I could hear the other one coming. And then it was just like on the line, it was just like, fuck, I think I won. I'm not sure. I think I won. And then the Japanese lad said to me, did I win? I was like, I hope not, because I think I won. So then when I seen Billy Slater on the pony, I'm like, did I win? He's like, mate, you won by half a head. I just started bawling my eyes out.
That last 200 metres, like you go from, like I said, back of the pack. Like I feel like there were only like 4 horses behind you. And then all of a sudden you just start weaving through. And then like you said, you're out in the clear, you hit the front. Like, what were you thinking? Or again, were you just in the zone going, okay, there's a gap, go. There's a gap, go. Like, at any point were you going like, fuck yeah, it's opening up for me here. Like, this is unreal. Like,
yeah, they were all just opening before I got there, thankfully for me, because sometimes you can get there and then they're not open and you're like, so. And then the main thing is you need a horse to take the gaps, because at the end of 2 miles it's difficult to quicken, and he was bred to sprint, so I knew he could quicken, and especially on a good track, but he just started picking up through the gaps. He's only a little horse, but pinning his ears back and just having a go, so it was a pretty exciting thing.
And then as soon as you like found out you won and everything, did that zone sort of like fall away, and all of a sudden you can hear 100,000 people going fucking nuts and stuff? Like,
yeah, it was like helicopters all over the place and screaming fans, and it was pretty emotional. Yeah, it was definitely the most emotional win.
I'm sure it would have been.
It was just like I just never felt worthy of winning a Melbourne Cup, in a sense. I always felt like that was way above what I could ever achieve. I always felt I was good enough jockey, but Melbourne Cup is like different, but that's the beauty of racing, sometimes the battlers can do it as well.
100%. I always say every trainer, every jockey, every like syndicate, like they get their day in the sun eventually. Like it might be whatever their day in the sun counts as. It might be a Group 1 during the Brisbane Carnival, it might be a Melbourne Cup. I feel like every trainer, like if they stick at it, is going to get one. Every jockey is going to get one. Every syndicate is going to find that one horse that gives them that big moment that they've been working towards.
Yeah.
Like, I remember watching that race. I'm a teacher by trade. I do this on the side, but we were in the staff room. It was my last sort of internship before I was allowed to be a fully fledged teacher. And all the staff were joking because by the end of it was right at the end of the internship, they knew that I was real keen on horses, and they're all laughing like, "What fuck? We're going to the intern for Melbourne Cup tips." And they're all saying, "Who's going to win?" And I told every single one in that staff member that Akita Sushi's going to win. And I remember I didn't have eyes on any other horse but Akita Sushi. And when that fucking thing hit the front at the 200, I went, "Oh my god, I am on here. I'm going to be the king of the staff. Everyone's going to love me."
Yeah.
And I've never been able to tip a Melbourne Cup winner. The best I've done is third with Akita Sushi and Spanish Mission. And I only had eyes for it. I'm like, oh my god, it's going. And then all of a sudden, in the blink of an eye, you and the Jap come through, and I was just dumbfounded. Because no offense, I was telling everyone that would listen, your horse was the only horse that couldn't win.
100%. Yeah. No, a lot of people thought that, but you sort of, I couldn't believe he was the price he was. I thought he should have been a little bit shorter, just off, because it wasn't the best race, really. You know, it wasn't the best rendition of a Melbourne Cup. And I just always kept going back to that. He's ran second in the Q22 in front of some good horses, weight for age horses.
Yeah.
And also, if he had have ran second in the Bendigo Cup, he would have been 20, probably 30 to 1 instead of 150 to 1. So, and he was just unlucky. But I just didn't really care, to be honest. I was just happy to be in the race, you know.
Was that more? Was that something that, like, afterwards that sort of gave you a bit more satisfaction? The fact that, like, I didn't win on a favourite, I won on a 100 to 1 shot, like.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Everyone wrong.
It is pretty cool. Although I would like to be riding favourites in the Melbourne Cup.
I mean, you won't go wrong with that. Actually, my mate said that I need to get you to watch this because it's my. I don't know if you've seen it. It went somewhat viral after the fact of the race. It's my rundown of your horse's chances in the Cup, and they said.
Oh yeah, can't win probably.
Yeah, I will say I go very, very harsh, so I'm very sorry.
That's all right.
I want to see what you think of it. There's one horse in the field every year that I like to have a little bit of a rant on about how the hell has this horse come into this field? Come on now. Come on. He's done nothing but win a couple of Class 1 races up in Queensland. The fact that he's in this race is a bit of a joke compared to some horses missed out in the order of entry. But, I mean, nice to see a proper Aussie horse in the race. Nice to see Robbie Dolan getting a Cup ride. If you draw him in a Cup suite, don't be too disappointed. As long as your office is paying out last.
I'd say you're devastated after that.
Yeah, I was.
They give you your money back if you come last, so don't be too disappointed as long as the office is paying out last. If they're not, rip the ticket up. It's not winning. And now that I've said that, you'll win by 5 lengths.
And I just remember seeing it cross the line, and
fucking hell.
It won.
You couldn't even get the margin right.
I know. I was like, fuck, I'm going to cop it. And that I did. Like we cop it enough when like we tip favourites and they don't win. And I said, going on and on about this horse, can't win. And so I made a video that clipped that and clipped together a couple funny things to make fun of the fact that it won. And I'm like, fuck, well, I've got egg on my face. And that video is probably still like our most popular video ever. It got probably 500,000 views over Facebook, over TikTok, over Instagram. Hundreds of people going, you're a fucking idiot. Like, how could you not see that it was a chance? Like, I bet you feel stupid. And then even, I don't know if it was Sheila herself or if she's got a social media person that does her socials, but she commented, how do you like them apples?
Yeah, it would have been her. She loves it. She loves Facebook.
And I just went back to her like, well, I'm very sorry. You've got all my respect in the world. Like, that was unreal training effort, unreal ride. Like, so that, like, I'm sure that would have made it feel so much sweeter that, like, every single expert, quote unquote expert, would have said this horse has no chance. But then, like, you and Sheila would have probably been walking around chest high, like, unreal. Like, well, we've proved wrong here. We got the Cup.
Absolutely, because normally them experts are right. So it's good to knock them off once, I guess.
And so, what was the aftermath like? You said that it was very emotional. Like, what was the sort of first couple things that you did after you got back, got the weight, it's all confirmed, Cup's yours? Like, what was that experience like?
Well, you don't have a minute to yourself, to be honest. You know, you come in after the race, you unsaddle and away out, and then you're just like swarmed. There's 1,000 media people, and you literally have Maggie Payne, who looks after the jockeys who win the Cup. She is like, my name's Maggie, I'll be looking after you for the rest of the day.
Yeah, okay.
Don't leave my side. I'm like, all right, no worries. And then you're just dragged out. You're in a press conference. There's 400 people. She's like, no, don't talk to him. You'll talk to him, and then you can talk to him, and then do him, and then him, and then you got to do the paper, and then you have to go over there and do the radios, and it's, you know, it's full on. You know, I gave me a little one and my missus a kiss, and I was like, I might not see you for a while, and then just got dragged around, and then they were like, oh yeah, there's a thing for all your friends and family at Crown Casino. Just let me know when you're going to be there, because I'll have to be there as well. I was like, yeah, sweet. So got the trophy, I remember driving to Crown Casino, I was just like shaking. I had my family in the car, and again we pulled in, and then it was just like bang, just media everywhere, loads of media. And then you know, this is like 6 hours after the race or whatever. media doing stuff for 7 and 9 and chatting on the news and all that crack and social media, all that stuff. And then I hadn't even have a beer yet. Like, you know, you win the Melbourne Cup and it's 7 hours after the race. I haven't even had a beer or whatever.
Like, that was the first beer that you got.
And then we went in the back of this restaurant. And it's just, it was just us, like our family, and the restaurant put on a big spread and had loads of drinks and food, and and then we sort of just enjoyed it in there for a while. And then Sheila and the owners came in, and we all just were sitting around just like, what the hell just happened? Like, you know, this is insane. We watched the race a few times, and then went into the casino about 4 a.m. We're getting home. I had to be up at 6 to do more interviews for sunrise. So I remember getting like 2 hours sleep, and then just had to walk down to the get a coffee. It was like 6 a.m. I was just like, what's happening? So dead.
Worth it though.
Yeah, but it was a real emotional night. Like, I remember just like crying.
Yeah.
Loads. I was just crying lots. Like, just to myself. You know, like just sitting there like, oh my God, what's just happened?
Yeah.
I had my dad there. He flew over from Ireland.
Unreal.
Just to watch the race because, you know, it's a Melbourne Cup.
Not every day you get a Melbourne Cup ride.
Yeah. So win, lose or draw, it was going to be a good day, and it just ended up being a better day. Yeah. He had the best trip to Australia of all time. He flew into Australia on the Sunday. We went to watch Cam Smith playing golf, followed him around at Nudgee, followed him around, then flew to Melbourne Monday. My weight was really good because I had to ride 51.5, got my weight down good. So we were able to go for dinner on Monday night, teppanyaki, went to Melbourne Cup the next day, won the Melbourne Cup. Then I sang with Ronan Keaton the next day, and then he flew back to Ireland the next day.
Fantastic.
It's literally the best thing ever.
Can't complain with that. Jockeys always say winning the Melbourne Cup changes your life. You've been quoted saying it changed your life. So, like, in a way, was your phone, like, after it stopped blowing up with congratulations, did it start blowing up again with, can you ride this horse? Can you ride that horse? Like, are you all of a sudden getting booked left, right and centre now?
Yeah, well, it definitely, you know, it's not like, racing's a weird game. There's a lot of politics involved and stuff, but it wasn't like everyone wanted to put me on the horse because they realised I was a good jockey or whatever like that, because I'd already been around for a long time. So it's not like I was a young kid making a wave through or anything like that. So, but I did get, you get opportunities when you can compete, especially for me as a lightweight rider. You know, like Royal Supremacy. If I hadn't won the Melbourne Cup, maybe they would have went with someone else.
Yeah, of course.
Who knows?
You'd be probably considered one of the top, like, lightweight Cup riders.
Well, I'd say so. Hopefully.
You've got two, like the Cup and the Metropolitan, like two of the better stayers sort of races where you get in lightweight. So
yeah, I think that'll definitely see me in the stead for the next part of my career, which I'm not sure, where it'll go or anything like that. But being able to ride light, like, I've been off for 3 or 4 weeks now and I'm still only 52.8.
Yeah, wow.
So I haven't really put on much weight.
Makes it easier. You don't have to sweat and stuff.
Yeah, like 50 kilos is difficult. Like when I rode Royal Supremacy in the Metro, I was pooped after that. I was really exhausted. I remember Emma was trying to do the interview with me and I was just fucked because he was really keen that day. They went steady and I just didn't have a lot of room and I was just hanging on to him. And then even like I just manoeuvred him out to the outside and then he won. And even just pulling him up after the race, I was just exhausted because I'd lost so much weight for that one. Not so much, but a couple of kilos. When you're down already light, it's hard to get the last bit off,
Yeah. Is that horse yours now? Like, if you can get back in time for it to run later in the autumn, if it is in like a Sydney Cup, are you making sure you're jumping back on? Or
no horse is yours in racing, mate.
Oh, really?
I'll tell you that. There's always someone else there ready to pounce. But no, he's I only got on him because it was 50 kilo that day, and then obviously they were really great. Really great to keep me on him in the Caulfield Cup. Ran 5th, ran a cracker, and then Melbourne Cup drew shit and just went forward because I had nowhere else to go. And he just done a bit. He's a bit keen and stuff. I'm not sure if he'll go down the Melbourne Cup path again this year. Maybe he will, but he could be a nice little weight for age horse. So you never know. Ethan does a lot of riding for Kieran, so he'll probably get the pick of him.
Brilliant. Oh, well, we're running out of time. We like to always, when we do these interviews, we talk about your career, but also what you like to do away from the track. And I think you're probably the easiest guest we've ever had on for that because it's very well known what you like to do away from the track, the singing.
Yeah.
So we'll quickly chat through like the voice and singing in general. Has that always been a thing that you knew you could do from young, or is that just something you discovered later on in life?
Yeah, no, I used to do it when I was a kid, like at home and stuff like that. I used to do like school talent shows and all that crap, but I didn't sing for a long, long time. When I got into racing, that sort of took my life over, and was a bit of a hidden talent then in Australia anyway for a long time. Like all my friends in Ireland knew I could sing and stuff, but pretty sure it was like we went to a Christmas party and then end up drinking a few Coronas and getting up singing, and then someone videoed it. And
Some
then,
of the best nights.
Yeah, and then when I was actually Mark Noonan's Christmas party, and then we went on a TV show after I won Champion Apprentice called Beyond the Barriers.
Yeah, okay.
And Mark went with the host. I think it was Tim Gilbert or whatever. Anyway, they stitched me up and they made me sing. So I didn't know the instrumental was going to start ranting, and they were like, he's like, "Oh, you're a bit of a singer." I was like, "How do you know?" He's like, "Desperado" by the Eagles, and then the instrumental came on and I sang, and then that video went viral all over the place.
Yeah.
Like, this jockey can sing, all that crap. Went on, like, it went that viral that Universal actually reached out and made them take the video down because they didn't have permission to, like, it was mental. So
Yeah, wow.
it was up to like 500,000 on Twitter in like a week, and then the video got deleted. So anyway, it's still up on Facebook and everything like that, but that's when somebody sent that into The Voice, and then they emailed me and said, "Oh, do you want to go on The Voice?" And I was kind of like, "Yeah, sounds good. Let's do it. Fuck it." And then I didn't think I'd get any far or anything like that, but I just sort of, you have to do like rounds and rounds and rounds before you even get to the
Something fun to do,
auditions, you know. And there was like 100,000 people audition, so I was like, nah, probably not. And then I just kept getting through. And they kept emailing me, "Oh, can you do this?" Kept getting through. And then pretty much it was like, "Yep, you're through. You're going to sing on the live shows." And I was like, "Oh, shit. What do I do now?" But it was, you know, like when I was first like in that stage, I was kind of like, "Oh, you know, I bet you all the jocks are going to fucking think this is a joke and are going to take the piss out of me."
Piss out of you?
Mate, they all got behind me. The whole industry got behind me, really. And
That's good.
you know, I got behind one of their own doing something different, and that was cool because you know, it'd be very easy to take the piss out of me doing that, but I think it just went down really well, and I've been asked to go back and do it again, but I don't think I'd do it again because sort of achieved what I wanted to do, and that was just to, well, just do it, I guess, have a go.
You mentioned earlier, like, because of that whole experience and maybe the rides weren't coming for you, that you sort of were considering going, all right, racing maybe is on the way out, maybe I'll have a crack at being a pop star or a rock star or whatever, you know, your sort of vibe would have been. Like, how close did you get to actually going, all right, I'm going to go to music full time?
Nah, I was never going to pull up the stumps riding, and I just worked too hard for too long just to, you know, to throw it away in a sense.
Yeah.
And I love the horses too much, and I love racing. It's such a rewarding sport when things go right. But I did juggle them for ages. Like I was doing gigs every week and stuff like that, and it was great. But I got to a stage then where it was kind of like trainers were, "Oh, does he want to be a jockey or does he want to be a singer?" sort of fucking thing. So I was kind of, you know, it was hindering my racing. So I did take a step back even when I moved to Brisbane. So it's only recently now I'm starting to really get back into it and doing a few gigs here and there. Like I'm doing one in Canberra in a few weeks before the Canberra Cup. And then after the last, I'm singing. I'm going to open the Mountain Yard and let everyone in and just sing. So but yeah, I've been writing a bit of music. I have a few songs released that are doing well enough, and then I'm thinking about maybe like starting a band and doing a few bits around the place. So
that'd be cool. Is that something that you think when it is time to retire, like that's, well, I know what I'm doing next, I'm
I think so. I'd like to do TV, but I wouldn't really want to be like a pundit. You know, it's probably not my forte in a sense, but singing is definitely another massive passion of mine, so I'll just go with the flow like I always do.
Would you, like, being up on stage and being on live TV singing and all that through The Voice, like, did that sort of help you with dealing with pressure and getting outside your head, or was that already something that you had drilled into you from racing?
I never really got too stressed or and pressure didn't get to you. Everyone gets, butterflies in their stomachs when thinking about big things that are coming up and stuff, but I never got too worried or anything like that. I always just went like, fuck it, sure, we'll just have a go, see what happens. That was sort of, my mindset all the way through since I was an apprentice and since I was a kid. And then I just try to enjoy everything I do.
Yeah.
Like even in the Melbourne Cups, like the two Melbourne Cups I rode, I just tried to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like look around and reality check in a sense, just like, this is not everybody gets this opportunity. So same with The Voice. Like there's so many great singers that would love to get a chance to go on The Voice. So I was kind of like, taking it all in and stuff.
Yeah, not taking it for granted. That's a good attitude to have, like just letting it come to you rather than going, I want this, I want that, I want more. Like, yeah, no. And did you get to be mates with any of the judges? Like, do you have them in your phone now or anything? Or
no, that was filmed during COVID, so I didn't get to really do a lot with them, unfortunately. I was on Team Rita Ora, and like we even said like all her team, like we were all going to go out and have drinks and stuff, but it just never happened because of COVID. So I
was gonna say, knowing you'd probably be able to become best mates with them over a drink.
Probably, yeah, I'd say so. But no, I still keep in touch with a few of the contestants from The Voice, like Lockie, who won the show, who actually beat me in the battle and then went on to win the show. He's a good mate of mine. We chat often and meet up every now and then. And a few of the other girls that are in it are doing their own singing things, and it's just like, again, I would never have got to meet these people if I never went on The Voice. So
no, it would have been a cool experience, like, and so. But you say everyone supports you and everyone like doesn't take the piss out of you, especially in the jockey room and stuff. But does it become a bit of a punish from now and then? Like I feel like whenever there's a microphone nearby or a karaoke thing, they'd probably be you're the first one they're passing it to. Like they ever go on, mate, you can sing.
Yeah, but I like singing, so I don't mind that. But it's more like when people, can you sing at this like 16th birthday party here? And I'm just like, how much are you going to pay me? Like,
is that the roguest request you've gotten to do a gig, or are there any weird ones on that?
No, there's plenty of weird ones.
What's the weirdest one you've gotten?
I've sang at a few weddings, but like, I sang at a wedding one time, and their first dance song was like a breakup song. So I remember like singing it, like, what the hell is going on here?
Did you go, are you fucking sure you want me to sing
this?
Yeah,
are you sure? This is for after you break up. You know what I mean?
Oh, unreal. Well, we're running out of time, so I guess we'll finish it up. What we like to do, we ask everyone just what's next, what's coming in the next few months for you. Is it more gigs? Is it getting back on the horse? What's coming in the next few months for Robbie Dolan?
Hopefully getting back healthy and not falling off again. That'd be great. Touch wood. But no, I'm sort of the kind of person that just goes with the flow and just take every day as it comes. I guess I got a young daughter at home who's definitely taking a lot of my time at the moment, so it's good.
Oh well, fantastic, mate. Thank you for joining me. I would shake your hand if it wasn't broken.
That's all good.
But fantastic, mate. We really enjoyed having a chat.
Beautiful. Thanks.